Hello, and welcome to the Northern Kentucky University Career Services video on how to answer the interview question, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself is among the most common questions that employers ask during an interview. This question allows employers to learn more about a candidate's professional background and, if hired, what they would bring to the position. Despite this being a popular question, a lot of people tend to struggle with answering it. For some, it's because they don't know what information the potential employer is wanting to know about them. For others, they know the things they should be talking about, but they don't know how much information to provide to the employer. In order to know what information to talk about and how much detail to include, we encourage you to focus on your education, experiences, and passions as they relate to the position you are interviewing for. Let's look at each of these and see how they can be used to answer the question, tell me about yourself. For recent college students, your education is a great place to begin. When talking about your education, you want to include your area of study, including your major and/or your minor. While talking about each of these, you will also want to include information about how having that degree or working towards that degree has prepared you for the position that you are applying for. You can do this by talking about any specific courses that you have taken and projects that you've completed that have helped you gain skills or experiences that relate to the position that you're applying for. When talking about your classes, however, you want to be careful not to just list courses from your transcript, but instead you will want to include the specific details of how that class has prepared you for the position you are interviewing for. If you are in a situation where you have several classes that have prepared you for the position, you'll want to be strategic in how you talk about your classes. This may mean only highlighting one or two courses in detail instead of 6 or 7, or talking about your courses in a broad stroke and what skills or knowledge you have gained from them as a whole. Let's look at an example of how to talk about your education together. For this example, let's assume this person is interested in the peer career coach position in career services. They will help students prepare for their upcoming interviews and conduct practice interviews. When talking about their education, the candidate might say, I am an incoming junior at Northern Kentucky University with a major in psychology and a minor in communication studies. Through my coursework, I have taken numerous classes on how to help and coach others. Specifically in my interpersonal communication course, we learned about communicating with others and providing meaningful and constructive feedback to help them improve their communication skills. In addition, I have completed many group projects where I have provided feedback individually and in groups to my classmates. I feel confident in my ability to listen to my peers and provide them with meaningful feedback that will help them improve their interviewing skills. Notice in their response, the candidate talks about their year in school, where they're obtaining their degree, what their degree is in, and how their coursework has prepared them for this position. Once you have sufficiently talked about your education, you will then want to talk about your experiences. While talking about your experiences certainly can and should include your past employment, experiences can also include volunteer work, undergraduate research, co-ops and internships, practicums, student organizations, and any other way that you have developed skills related to the position. Much like when talking about your education, you don't want to just provide a long list, but you'll want to highlight a few experiences that relate well to the position. As you talk about these experiences, you also want to make sure that you give detail regarding the experience. These details can include the role you had, what you did in that role, and any specific skills you have gained from that position. If there is an experience that has really shaped you as an employee that you anticipate talking about later in the interview, you may want to go ahead and mention it so the interviewer already has some context about the experience. It is, however, perfectly fine for you to bring up new experiences and provide needed context later in the interview. Now let's look at an example of how to talk about your experiences. Again, for this example, we are going to assume that this person is interviewing for a peer career coach position at Career Services. When talking about their experiences, the candidate could say, in addition to my education, I am involved on campus. I currently serve as the Secretary for Leadership Mentors, a group committed to providing leadership guidance and training for students. In this role, I take detailed notes for historical reference. Through this organization, I have also had the opportunity to attend and plan various sessions on leadership and mentorship. In addition, I am also the president of Honors Student Association, a group that provides opportunities to students primarily in the Honors College to develop community and give back to the university. Through this role, I have had the opportunity to plan many programs and events as well as lead weekly meetings. Notice that in this example, the candidate was able to talk about two experiences that have given them relevant skills related to the position that they are interviewing for. By describing their role and the duties involved, the person interviewing them will have a better idea of what skills they are bringing to the position and how they have used those skills in the past. Also note, they provided details about the groups, knowing that the interviewer may not be familiar with these student organizations. To wrap up the question, tell me about yourself. You can talk about your professional passions as they relate to the position that you are interviewing for. One thing you can consider talking about with your passion is what led you to your career field or major area of study that you have pursued or are pursuing. For example, someone entering the medical field might share about how a particular medical professional helped them during a time in need and their desire to help others in the same way. Or a person passionate about math might talk about the thrill of solving complex problems. If you talk about your passions in this way, you can relate it back to the position you are interviewing for by talking about how that specific passion fits into this position. Many people are passionate about their career goals and might want to talk about their goals and how this position will help them accomplish these goals. For example, in an internship interview, you might share how the experience you gained through this role can serve as a springboard for your future full-time career in the field. Telling the employer about your professional passions will provide them insight about your commitment to the field and the impact you will strive to make. Let's look at an example together of how to include your passion into your response. Once again, for this example, we are going to assume that this person is interviewing for a peer career coach position at Career Services. When talking about their passion, the candidate could say, "Through these experiences, I have learned that I have a passion for helping others and mentoring them through different stages in their lives. I'm excited about having the opportunity to help students prepare for their interviews and help them gain the confidence needed to be successful in any interview they complete." Once you put it all together, you can see by following this structure, your answer can provide the employer with a strong overview of who you are and what you can bring to the position. As a mock interviewer, one question that I frequently get is, what happens if I don't have a lot of courses or experiences related to the position that I am applying for? For some students, they're just beginning their courses for their major or have recently changed their major, so they don't have a lot of courses or projects related to their field of interest. For others, they don't always have room in their schedule to fit in an internship or a job related to their field of interest. When this isn't the case, students often ask how they are supposed to talk about their education or experiences. For your education, the first thing to note is that you do not have to go into a lot of detail about your specific classes. If you can provide this detail, that's great, but it's also important to note that you can talk very broadly about the courses you've taken. If you have not taken a lot of courses in your major, you can instead talk about what you will be learning in your courses as you continue with your education, or maybe why you have selected this area of study. Even if you choose to not talk about your classes at all, the one thing you do want to consider talking about is your major and/or minor and how they can help you in the position that you are interviewing for. When it comes to discussing your experiences, it's important to note that even if your past experience doesn't directly relate to the position, you can share it in an interview. Past jobs, organizational involvement, and volunteer work all provide you with transferable skills that you can use in any position. These skills might include organizational skills, leadership abilities, communication skills, the ability to work on a team, or time management, among many others. Highlighting these experiences and skills can be very useful in any interview as they show an interviewer what skills you'd be bringing to that position. It's always a great idea to practice your interviewing skills in advance. Career Services is ready to help with this. If you'd like to set up a mock interview with the Career Services mock interview team member, please contact Career Services using the information provided on the screen. This has been the Northern Kentucky University Career Services video on how to answer the interview question, "Tell me about yourself." Our contact information is provided on the screen. If you have any questions, please reach out to us via phone or email. Thank you for your time and have a great day.